This is what all Giants fans have been waiting for. Buster Posey is red hot. The former MVP has caught fire against the Cardinals. And with 2 weeks left in the season and a playoff spot on the line, it couldn't happen at a better time. And that gets a big thumbs up from everybody. Giants, Cardinals, next. We've got Saturday night baseball here at AT&T Park as we get ready. The Cardinals are in town. This is game 3 of this 4-game series. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. It's nice to be back with my partner, Mike Krukow. And it's also nice to see how the Giants have played the last 2 games. Nice, clean baseball, and they'll look for a solid start from Jeff Samardzija.
Well, I think Jeff Samardzija has been looking forward to this start since he came up with the curveball and the changeup to add to his fastballs, the cutter and the sinker. Because if you look back at his last outing against the Cardinals in St. Louis, they were hard on him. They had 9 hits in 5 innings, 4 home runs. So now he's got some new weapons, and I think he can't wait to show this team that he's got some new weapons. The Giants' opponent tonight, a former teammate, Mike Leake, who was a good guy in the Giants clubhouse last year. The Giants tried to sign him. The Cardinals won that contest. So, but they know Mike Leake. So last night it was an unfamiliar opponent. Tonight they know all about him. It's a matter of getting mistakes and taking advantage of them, and that's what they'll try and do tonight.
And if you think it's a different lineup than the other 2 nights, think again. That's not what Bruce Bochy does. Should be fun tonight. All right, when we come back, we will have the lineups and the first pitch of this game right after these messages.
SN Bay Area is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box. Limited time only at participating restaurants. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, many of the folks still filing in. Most are here as we get ready for baseball. Our game time weather is presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission-free boardwalk is open this weekend. 65 degrees here at the yard. You see the winds at 10 miles per hour, humidity high, and it's mostly sunny. Quick look at the Cardinals lineup to face Samardzija. It'll be Carpenter, and you can see, he's done well against the Giants, followed by Diaz, Moss, and Piscotty. Matt Adams gets a start. He's hitting 5th. Then Molina, Krichik, and Colton Wong. And pitching and batting 9th is Mike Leake.
On the hill tonight for the Giants will be Jeff Samardzija, the big right-hander, 6'5", 225-pounder. He's 31 years of age in his 7th year at the big league level. 11-10 on the year with a 4.07 ERA. You're going to see a high-velocity fastball with 2 types of movement. He'll sink it, he'll cut it. He's got a slider, a curveball, and a changeup.
And the first pitch of the ball game is a bit outside.
About 1 inch outside.
So we get started right on time.
Samardzija 4-4 lifetime against the Cardinals with a 4.61 ERA.
Calling balls and strikes will be Corey Blazer. Then it's Honora, Eddings, and Las Diaz, 1st to 3rd.
Corey Blazer's got a low strike zone. He's a pretty good umpire. You'll see more width on the first base side of the plate than the third base, but he will give some width.
Foul back. It's 1-2. Carpenter, 19 home runs, 61 driven in. He's 4 for 19 in his career at bats against Jeff Samardzija. And the 1-2 delivery. Here it is. And it's in the dirt. 2-2.
Changeup. A pitch that he didn't even have the last time he saw the Cardinals in June. In that game, he went 5 innings, gave up 9 hits, 6 runs, 4 home runs. They hit him hard.
And the guy on deck is one of the 4. And the 2-2 to Carpenter. And Carpenter strokes it into right field, a base hit. So Carpenter, who seems to like to hit against the Giants.
Let's check out the defense behind Jeff Samardzija tonight for the Giants. Starting in their outfield from left to right, it'll be Pagan, Span, and Pence. Crawford and Nunez will be on the left side of the infield. Panic and Belt on the right side. Buster Posey, he'll be in the squat, putting down the signs.
So here's Diaz, who went 0 for 5 in the game yesterday. And he likes to swing, and there's a called strike in the outside corner. So Samardzija right off the bat has to get into the stretch. .309, 15 home runs, 59 driven in, and he was an all-star. Tight at 94, 1 ball and 1 strike. Moss to follow, and then Piscotty.
Giants with the Gigantes jerseys on tonight. They had the Fiesta Gigante before the game out in parking lot A.
Very festive.
That was fun.
Tap foul. It's 1-2. And no, we did not go out there and join in the festivities as much as we would have liked to.
Well, I drove by it in a golf cart, and it was loud, and they were having fun. But duty called. We had to report to the broadcast booth.
Samardzija making his 30th start. And the pitch on the ground to Crawford. Crawford wrestles this one to Panic, and Panic to Belt. Hit hard, but a double play. That was not an easy play for Brandon Crawford.
Well, run me through his mind when that ball's coming at him at that speed.
Well, you're hoping that you're not going to get an in-between hop because you can't make an adjustment with your legs. He did get an in-between hop, but he had time to go down to a knee like you would if you're at third or second.
Boy, and just as we always see, a perfect feed right to the chest of Panic.
Moss takes a pitch wide, 1-0. Moss at 238, but that's not why he's in there. He's in there because of his power. He's hit 26 out of the park, and he's got 63 runs batted in. 2 balls and no strikes. I think you mentioned to Greg that you want to see if Samardzija can establish that breaking ball and changeup early, and I think that's what he's trying to do here. Hit well into left center field, and very well, and gone. So on a 2-0 pitch, Samardzija challenges Moss, and Moss accepts the challenge, and it's 1-0.
Well, and he went up there the whole at bat looking for a fastball, and on a 2-0 count, he got one out over the plate and up. And Moss has got power. I mean, he'll take on any ballpark, whether it's opposite field, pull field. I mean, he could do this to you. This is right there at the belt. He backspins it, and he shows everybody that there's some carry in this ballpark tonight. So Cardinals draw first blood.
So the fans threw the ball back, and Span's got to take care of it. Here's Piscotty.
Flags whipping above the scoreboard out in center field. So just like we normally see here, the carry is to center field tonight.
Piscotty takes a breaking ball down low. The Cardinals, coming into today, had hit 207 home runs, and that's the first they've hit in this series. And they'd like to think that they're going to hit a bunch more before this series is over, and the Giants need to keep them in the park. That's how they win. One ball and one strike to Piscotty. Tap foul, 1-2.
Piscotty out of the Stanford baseball program, Bay Area guy. And you saw the numbers, what he did to the National League West this year. He's hit the West well. He can hit.
One-two pitch. Here it is. And it's down low, 2-2. See, the Dodgers have jumped out to an early lead in Arizona, 4-1.
Minnesota leading the Mets in the 7th inning.
Hit on the ground to Crawford. Crawford will make the play, and that'll end the inning. So on the board, the Cardinals on the home run by Moss. Giants are coming up. Here's the Giants lineup. It'll be Pagan, Panik, Buster Posey, and then Hunter Pence. And Hunter Pence against Leake. He's got great numbers. It'll be Belt, Crawford, and Nunez. Span will hit in the A spot, and then Samardzija will hit 9th.
On the hill tonight for the Cardinals will be the right-hander Mike Leake, 28-year-old, 5'10", 170-pounder. Take a look at what he has done in 27 starts this year. 9-10 with a 4.60 ERA. 115 strike against 26 walks. He's a control guy. You're going to see a fastball that's going to be right around 90, more high 80s than low 90s. But with lots of sink. When he's right, you're going to see a lot of ground balls. Works quick. He's got a curveball, a slider, and a changeup, and he'll throw all of his pitches. Lifetime against the Giants, 5-2 with a 5.02 ERA.
And when the Giants had to beat him in postseason in 2012, they did. Pagan looks at a strike, hitting .274, 11 home runs, 48 driven in, and he's got a little ownage on Leake. He's 6 for 13. Down low with Joe Panik and then Buster Posey. In tight. This is a young man that Bruce Bochy's known since he was just a little guy in San Diego. So much so that the Giants manager calls him Mikey.
He's on the same Little League team with Bochy's son.
Lined right to Moss. 1 out.
Check out the Cardinals defensively behind Mike Leake tonight, starting in their outfield from left to right. It'll be Moss, Grichuk, and Piscotty. Grichuk and Piscotty both have very good arms. Diaz and Carpenter on the left side of the infield. Wong and Adams on the right side. First start for Matt Adams. And Yadier Molina will be in the squad, putting down the signs. He never misses a Giants game. At least it seems that way.
And a call strike to Panik. Panik 0 for 6 lifetime against Mike Leake. Right back to Leake. The thing you'll notice is Mike Leake doesn't like to wait around. Here's our Geico quote. Buster Posey on the mood in the clubhouse. Sometimes you can't put your finger on it. There seems to be a really good energy in the dugout. And I know I sound like Hunter Pence right now.
Well, that's a good thing.
There's nothing bad about sounding like Hunter Pence. Strike to Buster Posey. 6 for 18 against Leake with a double and a home run. Hit his 13th last night. Taps this one. It's cued. Leake will pick it up, and that'll end the inning. So nice quick inning and a shutdown inning for Mike Leake. Second inning coming up. It'll be Adams, Molina, and Grichuk. It's 1-0 Cardinals.
Our cold hard facts brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. Hey, today it's the baby Bull's 79th birthday. That's right, Orlando Cepeda, 17-year career from 1968 to 1974, 9 of which was with the Giants. 297 lifetime average, 379 home runs, 1958 Rookie of the Year, 1967 National League MVP, 6-time All-Star, inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1999. We say happy birthday, baby Bull.
Happy birthday, Hall of Fame. Here's Matt Adams, lots of power. And a swing and a foul back, and it snowballs in 1 strike. We've not seen Adams in the starting lineup in this series. Matt Carpenter has been the Cardinal playing first base. But Adams can knock one out of the park at any time as he fouls this one out of play.
Bunyan-esque.
Yeah, he's built just like those celebrity softball guys that come in and do the pregame home run hitting contest.
Yeah, the slow pitch softball home run guys. Well, he could definitely do that. Strong, very quick middle in. Likes the ball up.
Pulls that one behind our old friend Bill Miller.
There's Billy Miller.
There's Billy. Hasn't changed a bit. Oh, maybe a little. Just outside, 2-2.
He's making some good pitches on that outside corner. There's not a lot of width on that side of the plate tonight from Corey Blazer, the plate umpire. Generally speaking, he'll give more width on the first base side of the plate. But right now, there's not a whole lot going on the third base side of the plate.
And Adams just got a piece. He's fouled just in front of Buster Posey. 1-0. Brandon Moss, a home run in the first inning. And it's high, 3-2. There's Yadier Molina. And the walk. Let's check in with Amy G.
All right, guys, it has been quite a treat this homestand to cover all of the Olympians who have been in attendance tonight. No exception. There's a little powerhouse, Allie Raisman. She's a gold medalist for the U.S. women's gymnastics team from 2016 and 2012. She's got back-to-back golds. She threw out the ceremonial first pitch. She had a little bit of practice. She's been around the nation. She's doing 36 stops with the final 5. They'll be performing tomorrow night in San Jose at the SAP Center. She's a doll, and she's awesome, guys.
Here's Yadier Molina, and he rolls this one to Nunez. Nunez to Panic, and Panic with a great play. Panic doesn't dig that out. The Giants are in trouble.
Well, you're right. You're looking at a runner first and second, nobody out. And it just was an off-balance throw from Nunez. I mean, he's trying to get the ball quickly over to Panic to have a chance for the double play. It's our Exmo. It's brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, and he winds up throwing a one-hopper, and Panic wrestles it down, keeps his foot on the base, so they do get the 1 out.
That's the play there where the new rules really save the middle infielder, because Adams at that point is not going in thinking that he's going to be safe. He's going in to break up the double play before the new rules have come in, and that's where you get waxed at second. Here's Grichuk.
Cardinals were reviewing that play to see if indeed Panic had a full grip on the ball. He did.
So Grichuk takes a strike. He's
one more play, and there was a little rattle in the glove. You could see what the Cardinals were concerned about as to whether or not he had possession.
Once he had it in his other hand, he's good.
And he did have a toe on the back.
On the ground, maybe 2. 1-2. Pence, Bell, Crawford coming up.
Voice of the San Francisco Giants, Dwayne Kuiper.
And Garcia throws. And posing, it's a high drive to left. It is out of here. Thanks, Carson. Superstars Miley Cyrus and Alicia Keys join Adam Blake and Carson on TV's #1 unscripted series, The Voice, when it returns Monday night at 8 p.m. only on NBC. 1-0 Cardinals. Hunter Pence will lead things off. Pence, Belt, Crawford, Nunez, Span. And the pitch. And Hunter Pence looks at a strike. Leak gets the ball back. Looks down a little bit and then right back to Benji Molina. Or Yadier Molina, I beg your pardon. Out of play. And if you're a catcher, you have to be prepared to speed things up a little bit.
Well, believe me, I mean, the pitcher should determine his rhythm, especially with nobody on base. Now, when you have runners on, you watch Buster Posey, he'll slow things down. And he does it just simply by not putting a sign down. And that's his way of controlling the rhythm. But when there's nobody out there on base, I mean, you can go as fast as you want.
Two and two to Pence. 13 for 33 lifetime. And a base hit into center field. Hunter Pence. Onage is Onage, and he's aboard.
Well, there are a limited number of 2016 postseason tickets available for possible games to be played here at AT&T Park. Register at sfgiants.com/postseason for the opportunity to purchase tickets to each round. Registrants will be selected at random. Registration for wildcard and NLDS tickets is open until noon this Sunday. Again, the sfgiants.com/postseason to register.
Here's Belt. Belt at 272. No overshift for Belt. And he drives one to right center field. On the move is Grichuk. He can't get it, and here comes Pence. Pence is going to score, and this game is tied.
What a great read from Hunter Pence, identifying early that Grichuk was not going to have a chance to get up to this line drive. And he had zero hesitation. Down and in, he just jumps on it. I mean, it's not a hanging sinker. I mean, he just goes down and beats his pitch. And look at the ball get over Grichuk. And this is the great read right here. He is gone. If Grichuk catches that ball, it's double play.
So here's Crawford at 267. And the pitch, it's high.
What makes him special? Guy 6'5" with that quick of a swing. And he's a front foot hitter. I mean, he gets out there, but his hands stay back. That's about as quick a swing as we've ever seen with a guy 6'5". I mean, that's very compact.
Crawford rolls it foul. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Crawford's got a couple of doubles and a couple of home runs lifetime against Mike Lee.
Straight away in the outfield. They give him the line in left field.
And it's a bit high, not by much. 2 balls and a strike.
And if you think your picture's a little washed out and a little too bright, in about another 5 minutes, that'll all be gone because the sun is still right in the teeth of our center field camera lens. And we'll start to get better here momentarily as the shadow's almost up to it.
Yeah, can you see somebody saying to their spouse, hey, honey, the HD's not working?
Yeah, could you take the bright off, dear? And the batter's eye is almost in the shade too, so
it's getting there.
Pitcher's advantage of the early start is disappearing.
Crawford on the ground. Wong will make the play, and on the play, Belt goes to third, so that's a productive out. And now it's up to Nunez to take advantage of it.
One thing we learned about Mike Leake, I mean, you know, he's a guy who throws a lot of balls on the ground, a sinker guy, but he's also a guy that can get a strikeout, and he will pitch for strikeouts given the situation. And this is one of those situations.
Cardinals will pull the infield in. Nunez is an aggressive hitter. No balls and 1 strike.
I rest my case.
286, 15 home runs, 65 runs batted in.
There you see the strikeout walk ratio of 4.42 to 1. That's very, very good. It says 2 things. One, you get a strikeout. Number 2, you don't walk a lot of people. Max Scherzer, Noah Syndergaard, Madison Bumgarner, Jose Fernandez. You know, with those other 4 guys, I mean, they're power arms. I mean, Leake's a guy that throws 90. Everybody else throws harder.
One and two.
And he also fields his position well.
Yes, he does. So Nunez now has to battle. On the ground, Wong kicks it around. Wong can't make the play. Everybody's safe. That'll be an error. Defense has not been a strength for the Cardinals this year.
Well, this is error number 100 on the year for St. Louis. And once it kind of clanked, you're just not going to get a second chance with the speed of Eduardo Nunez. I mean, that hit darn near hit him in the sweet spot of the glove.
So here's Span. Span at 286. Actually, Span at 259. 10 home runs, 49 driven in. And he shoots this one, and it's caught by Adams, and a double play. That's a great play. Giants tie it up. We will head to the 3rd inning. It's 1-1.
is brought to you by AAA. What does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? It should do more. Go to AAA.com for more details.
Tuesday the 27th is Bay Area Unite Night at AT&T Park. Your special event ticket is going to include a Giant Sharks teal cap and a ticket to see the Rockies. sfgiants.com/special events. Colton Wong is going to lead things off. Wong hitting at .236. And he takes a pitch inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes.
That is a tight strike zone. There has been nothing on the corners.
Mike Leake on deck. On the ground, foul. That'll trickle out to Hunter Pence, who makes somebody happy in the stands.
Samardzija's got a good sinking fastball tonight. He's putting a lot of balls on the ground. Still hasn't broke out the curveball this first time through. And he just shook one off.
Colton Wong goes around 1-2.
Shook it off to go to the changeup, and he gets the swing through strike.
Here's the 1-2 to Wong. Cardinals have lost 3 straight. They're 13 games over 500 on the road. And they're under 500 by 7 games at home. Figure that one out.
Can't.
Taps this one slowly. And if Samardzija can't get it, Panic's not going to be able to get it either. So that'll be an infield hit for Wong.
3rd inning in a row that St. Louis has gotten that leadoff hitter on base. The only guy who's really going to have a chance at this one was going to be Samardzija. And once it got past him and all the way to Panic with the speed of Wong, you're just not going to have a chance.
Here's Leake. You can't just assume that Leake is going to bunt.
Swings the bat well. So the throw over to first base, called by Bruce Bochy, and Leake did not tip his hand. He did not show bunt.
He does now, and he pulls the bat back. It's 1 ball and no strikes on the appeal, no swing.
Brian O'Nora, the first base umpire, saying no attempt. That's the beauty of a guy like Leake who could swing the bat. I mean, you could put a hit and run on with him. I mean, he's that good of a hitter.
That's why you can't assume. They're going to check again. It's 2-0. So Samardzija now has to throw a strike. Leake's trying to make an out, so give him a chance to do that.
Both skippers.
Both catchers.
Mike Matheny, Bruce Bochy. Big man catchers.
There's the bunt. It goes to Belt. Belt thought about it. Wisely goes to first. He wanted to throw. And that'll bring up Carpenter.
You like it when your first baseman or third baseman come down there and they anticipate the lead bag. You see the lower body, it's directed right towards second base. He sees there's not an opportunity there, so he does get the one out. But that play, the only way it's going to happen is if you anticipate that lead bag, even if you don't make the throw there.
Carpenter takes low. Keep an eye on Wong. Wong's got 6 steals. He hasn't been thrown out.
Last pitch, a curveball from Samardzija. First time through the lineup, opponents have had the highest batting average collectively against Samardzija.
Strike.
Finally gets that outside corner. What that tells you basically is that Samardzija takes a while to get a rhythm. A lot of guys are like that. First time through the lineup will be the one time through that will have the highest batting average.
Low. 2 balls and a strike. An infield hit and a bunt. Carpenter 5 for 20 in his career against Jeff Samardzija. Two and two.
Good curveball. That's what he has to do. He's got to show them he can throw it for a strike. And maybe that was the plan that Samardzija had coming into tonight's ball game. He was going to kind of save that curveball for the second time through. Oh yeah, they've got their gloves on.
On the ground. Panic to Belt. Wong goes to third. And here's Diaz.
So another ground ball off of that sinking fastball. When it's been down around the knees, Cardinals have put a lot of balls on the ground with it.
Now Diaz made an out in the first inning, but he had a really sharp ground ball to Crawford. And the first pitch runs inside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Outfield pretty much straight away. Span a bit towards the gap in right center. Tapped slowly to Belt. It's going to be a tough play. Samardzija got there just in time. Not an easy play, and the Giants pull it off. Samardzija's going to lead things off.
is brought to you by Heffernan Insurance Brokers. Insurance and financial services for you and your business. Visit hefins.com.
A 1-1 ball game as Jeff Samardzija is going to lead things off. And Samardzija takes a pitch for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Samardzija 10 for 59 on the season. One and two. Got him.
First strikeout in the game. All right, time now for our Ford Right choice. So we're going to look at the play that ended it for the Cardinals in the 3rd inning, and a nice play with everybody involved. It was going to be a foot race between Diaz and Samardzija, and Samardzija still got that great wide receiver closing speed, but what makes the play was the setup and the toss from Brandon Belt. Good pick.
Angel Pagan opened up the bottom of the 1st with a line drive to left field. That was caught by Brandon Moss. Joe Panik to follow. It's a 1-1 ball game. And at third is Carpenter. Down low, 2-1. Mets have tied the game up in New York. It's 1-1 now in the 8th inning. Mets and Twins. Three and one. I give you one guess who got the hit to knock in the run, and if you said Yoenis Cespedes, you'd be right. He's hot right now.
I can't remember when he wasn't hot.
That's true.
I guess when he was on the DL, he kind of cooled off. Other than that, he's been hot.
And a line drive right at Diaz. 2 down. John Miller is back, so he'll be over here with Mike. Innings 4, 5, and 6. Here's Joe Panik. And Joe looks at a strike. Ground ball back to the pitcher in the 1st inning for Joe Panik. Fouls this one out of play.
If you're an infielder, you love playing behind Samardzija and Leake because they work quick and they put the ball on the ground. All 9 of Samardzija's outs have been ground ball outs.
There's a foul back.
Did you look forward to the sinker ballers when you were playing?
I did. Yeah, you knew that your glove better not be on vacation. Tapped again, back to Leake. So Joe Panik's going to bounce back to the pitcher for the 2nd time. John Miller will be in. I'll see you back here in the 7th. It's a 1-1 ball game.
Max Muscle Sports Nutrition and is live on csnbayarea.com. You can log on each week as insider Alex Pavlovich talks baseball. So you can see it also on iTunes. Check it out. We are going to the top of the 4th inning. It's all tied up here at AT&T Park. Giants 1, Cardinals 1. And here to tell you all about it, my pal John Miller.
All right, Mike. And for the Cardinals, the big hitters are coming up, starting with Brandon Moss, whose first inning home run put the Cardinals briefly ahead in this game. 1 ball and no strikes. Moss is now the Cardinals home run leader. It's funny, they don't have anybody with 38 homers or 40 homers or leading the league in home runs, but they have home run power up and down the lineup, and they have more home runs than any team in the league. But Moss now leads the club with 27 home runs this year.
Well, they have 9 guys that have double-digit numbers in their home run totals. And Tommy Pham is on 9, so he's 1 home run away from joining the club.
1-2.
The problem with a lot of homers is that you kind of get in the mindset that that's how you're going to score. And if there's one criticism against this Cardinal offense, is that they don't manufacture a lot of runs without the home run.
And that is all for Brandon Moss.
So first strikeout from Samardzija, who had 9 ground ball outs prior to that. So he's got his good stuff tonight, John.
And I think he looks pretty good.
And welcome back, by the way. John was on assignment the last couple of days.
I was on assignment, and I was fearful about coming back because you guys seem to have a pretty good groove going.
you don't want to kill the vibe here.
No.
Pressure's on you.
I was so grateful when they jumped out with a run there. It looked like they were going to get more, but then a little bad luck. A great play by Matt Adams. And the line drive hit by Span, because it looked like a hit to right off the bat. Piscotty quickly behind the count, 0-2 against Samardzija.
Well, here's the play that ended it for the Giants. I mean, first and third, 1 out, a backhander low to the ground, then he scrambles back and beats Nunez to the bag, and that completes the double play. Great at bat from Span, denied.
Blew him away. Wow.
Well, and what set that up was the first pitch strike with the curveball. Just like with Moss, he was softballing with some off-speed stuff. And this is what Samardzija was not really able to do the last time he saw these Cardinals in St. Louis when they hit him for 9 hits, 6 runs, and 4 home runs in 5 innings. And tonight he's showing some off-speed stuff, and it's really making the fastball look a whole lot better.
Matt Adams, and it's a foul. Adams fell behind in the count early on in the 2nd inning, but then ultimately coaxed a walk from Samardzija. No matter. Samardzija got a couple of ground balls right after, including a double play ball to win the inning. Very powerful. Matt Adams spent a good deal of time this year and last on the disabled list. 1-1. The Dodgers with a 4-2 lead in the top of the 6th in Arizona. And the Mets have tied Minnesota with a run in the 8th inning, 1-1 in New York. That's a base hit. After a couple of strikeouts, Adams just kind of bloops one into the shallow outfield. He's aboard. Yadier Molina, number 4, will head up. Yoenis Cespedes singled home the tying run there at Citi Field. So here's Molina. He hit a ground ball into a force out. A little slow roller towards short. Just didn't hit it hard enough to be anything other than a force out. That one snaps back over the outside for a called strike.
95-mile-an-hour two-seam movement. You can throw it about the same velocity with cut that runs away from the right-handed hitter.
A ball and a strike now to Yadier Molina. Cardinal fans had to be shocked last night to see Molina make an error, only the second error for Molina all year. And the Giants have eventually turned that into 6 unearned runs in the 3rd inning of the game. Two and one.
A couple of crossfire fastballs, and he just sort of got into a little bit of a sling in his delivery. Those are things you try to correct on the next pitch.
Samardzija working in the 4th inning. This will be his 57th pitch of the game. Runner at first, 2 down. 1-1. And now it's a 3-ball, 1-strike count.
Well, Molina's not helping him by going out of the strike zone. Don't have to worry about Adams at first base.
Grichuk on deck. You don't think Adams is going to try to steal second here?
Well, he's tried to steal once this year. He's 0 for 1. But yeah, I don't think he's going.
Well, he ends up walking Yadier Molina.
So, and with the walk, Samardzija is going to take a little walk.
That's his 2nd walk allowed.
You know, and that really is the one thing that you always concern yourself with any pitcher is how does he transition from the windup to the stretch? What type of command does he have once he gets on a runner on base and goes into the stretch position? And for Samardzija, he has a little sling, a lot of those pitches out of the stretch.
1-1 to Grichuk.
The way you correct that is just say to yourself that I want to drive my shoulder at the target. You want to stay a little more closed with your front side as you start your drive towards your target. That usually gets you back up in a throwing mode where you take the sling out of your delivery.
2 on, 2 out. Did he swing? No. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I think we're just going to quit asking Brian O'Neill. He has not helped out tonight. All right, let's see. Did he go? Little curveball down the dirt. Nope, he did not. Good call, Brian O'Neill, first base umpire.
2 men on. And he foul tipped it. Swung at that one and didn't get it. 1-2.
Now, you know, even if the curveball wasn't a strike, it was an off-speed pitch. And it set up the 96-mile-an-hour fastball above the hands on the inside corner.
Struck him out looking. 97 miles an hour. That snapped right back over the outside. And Grichuk didn't like the call. Posey, Pence coming up.
Brought to you by T-Mobile. On this date, 1997, down by 2 games of the Dodgers, the Giants started off the 2-game series with a Barry Bonds 2-run homer off Chan-Ho Park. That was in the first inning. And Kirk Reeder would pitch 7 stellar innings, allowing just 1 run. And Roberto Hernandez would come into the 8th inning and get a 6-out save, and the Giants won that ball game 2-1 in a 2-game series that we think are 2 of the greatest games ever played at Candlestick Park. That's our greatest cover of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile.
2 down with 11 to play when that series started, a 2-game series. And then they were tied with 9 to play afterward. Buster. This one fairly easy for Grichuk. And Posey is 0 for 2 against Leake. Hunter Pence comes up. You look at a lot of numbers for the different Giants hitters. They have a lot of guys who've done well at first look against Leake. But as Bruce Bochy was pointing out before the game, most of those numbers were put up against Leake in Cincinnati. Leake has had a history of doing really well in this ballpark. 1 ball and no strikes, which was part of the reason that the Giants went out and traded for him for the stretch run last year. And maybe if he'd had longer time with the Giants, a full season, he would have done better. But he did not have that many great games as a Giant in this ballpark last year.
Yeah, I don't think he was 100% healthy either. Remember his first start against the Texas Rangers in Texas, he had a hamstring problem.
Put him on the shelf for a while.
And I think it bothered him. I don't think, and he was one of those guys that made any complaints or excuses. But I don't think he was 100%.
Got the call on that one.
We talk about Corey Blazer's strike zone, and if you get width outside, it's on the first base side of home plate, and he's starting to loosen up a bit.
Full count now. Pence hit a single his first time and scored the Giants' run on a Brandon Belt double after that. Third baseman Carpenter is right on the line for him. Struck him out. Threw him that breaking ball on a 3-2 count. Wow.
Curveball. And a good one. I mean, that is small, quick, and in a perfect spot.
2 down, nobody on. Brandon Belt, who hit a shot, a double, made it over the head of Grichuk, and 1 hop to center field wall in front of those bleachers out there to the right of straightaway to knock Pence in. But Leake has retired both Posey and Pence in short order. In the hands of Belt. Carpenter over. No. Still 0-2.
That man making a play.
It's the Stone Brewing Company man. Brandon Belt with a couple of doubles and a homer and 14 career at bats. And that one cuts down and in, and the count is now 1-2. Just got a piece of that one. Well, Belt is one of the guys. Belt, Posey, Pence, Crawford, that the Giants like to see get hot here in these final couple of weeks of the season. They're all capable, and they're all due to get hot. And Belt has been swinging the bat well for a little while already. It's a foul ball.
Our ball dude making a play. Gary Fralick. And that's Andy Salas on our third base side. He's a Rawlings guy. White shoes though, Andy. I don't know.
In the dirt, 2-2 now to Belt. Crawford on deck.
Yeah, maybe for the golf course.
Did that really look cool on the golf course?
Well, I mean, he's wearing a watch with a glove on and he's got white shoes. Andy, we got to work on a few things.
Check swing. Did he go? No, says Las Diaz. Three and two now. It's too low.
They thought he had it, and he was walking off the field. So it wound up being a nice at bat from Belt's perspective. And the Giants get a runner here with 2 outs.
Belt. This is just too low.
Yeah, looking for. I mean, look, the guy sinkers. I mean, they get a lot of low strikes, and he's pretty much put it in the mind of Corey Blazer, the plate umpire, that he's going to be down around there. So Leake expected to get it, but I do agree with you. It was low.
Brandon Crawford now. 1-1. Foul tipped it.
Something you don't often see from Crawford. Him break it down in the swing. Usually when he pulls the trigger, he lets it go, and it's got pretty good balance on it.
Crawford grounded out to second. A productive out that moved Belt from second to third. Back in the second inning. Leake in his average 9-inning stint averages less than 1.5 walks in that time. And he's been the most stingy among all starters in the league in that category. Change up. That's low. That low pitch has been a bone of contention, and there's been talk about changing the actual rule book idea of that low strike, moving it up a little bit.
Great. That's what we want to see. More walks. Awesome idea.
2-1 the count to Brandon Crawford. Two.
I'm not really sure as to how well Brandon Crawford is seeing Leake right now.
Crawford 7 hits and 23 career at bats against Leake. Over 300 average with 2 doubles and 2 homers in those 23 at bats. Belt at first, 2 down. Pop up, and out goes Wong. The Giants leave 1. And we head to the 5th inning. It's a tie game, 1-1. Wong, Leake, Carpenter coming up for the Cardinals.
In the community segment, it is brought to you by PG&E, and it is Bruce Bochy joining forces with the American Heart Association. Yesterday was the annual Heart Walk. You see Russ Stanley in photos there with Bruce Bochy. He's in charge of ticket sales here with the Giants and is recovering from a quintuple bypass. What a stud. He and Bruce walked from the Ferry Building. They were joined by Larry Baer about it. Bruce Bochy said he loves helping out the American Heart Association. It's a bunch of enthusiastic people, and they all are there to raise heart and health awareness. Gentlemen.
All right. Amy Gutierrez, what's going on around the Giants as Wong, after taking a strike, now it's 1-1. Wong singled, he hit it so softly toward the second base position that he was able to beat it out. So he's 1 for 1. Leak, the pitcher, is on deck.
Just a bit outside. Cardinals have done a good job tonight getting the leadoff hitter on. They've done it 3 out of the 4 innings against Samardzija.
Three and one.
Got underneath that sinker a little bit. Every pitch you throw, you either try to repeat it or you try to make the correction. Always making small adjustments.
3-2.
And that's what you learn. You learn how to evaluate how the ball's coming out of your hand, how your motion feels. Think about your stride. You think about how you break your hands. I mean, all those things mechanically.
And a walk. That's 3 walks now allowed by Samardzija. Giants have this final road trip upcoming starting Monday when they get home a week from Tuesday. Colorado will be here for 3. The 27th, it'll be Bay Area Unite Night featuring a Giant Sharks cap. And Tuesday, although I don't think we have these dates quite right. I think the series starts on a Tuesday. Anyway, the 28th will be African American Heritage Night. Your special event ticket will get you a Monty Irvin, the Hall of Famer, his bobblehead. sfgiants.com/tickets. Leak bunting the first one foul. I'm just going to double check that homestand starts on Tuesday the 27th with Colorado. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then the final series with the Dodgers starting on Friday, September the 30th. 1 strike. And back to the bag is Wong. Wong is a guy you have to keep an eye on him. He's capable of stealing a base, although he has only 6 steals so far this year. Cardinals do not run very much. They have 32 steals as a team and have been thrown out 25 times. Wong is 6 for 6. Leak is also capable of swinging the bat pretty well. There goes Wong. It is bunted. And that's fair, and he's tagged out.
Well, it's kind of a weird bunt play, but they do get the out. This is just the 3rd sacrifice bunt that Leak has had all year. He's had 2 of them tonight. Just fair by inches. So Posey really realizing there's no play with Wong running on the play. You see the jump that Wong had. I do find that a bit odd. The guy doing it looked to me like it was a straight steal in a bunt situation.
Well, Wong had no idea that he bunted it at all. He went in with a head-first dive as if he was trying to steal the bag.
Well, you know, you point out he's got 6 steals on the year. He does have a green light.
Now the leadoff man, Carpenter, who has singled and grounded out. And it's a count of 0-1.
But it just looks odd when a guy straight steals in a bunt situation.
Mike Matheny. So we're guessing that that was not his call. It was not the bunt and run. 0-1 the count. Belt, Samardzija over to cover. And immediately Samardzija turns around and has a look at Wong, who would come around 3rd. So 2 down. And for the Second time in a row after Wong has led off an inning, reaching base. He has been bunted to second and moved to third on a subsequent ground ball by Carpenter. So he's at third with 2 down in the inning. And now Aledmys Diaz will come up. He held back, and just to make sure, Brian Honora was consulted.
That was close. I mean, it looked like a swing from Samardzij's perspective.
One tie, 5th inning. Runner at third, 2 down. Cardinals have 4 hits. The Giants have 2. Samardzij, big pitches to make here. And he hangs that one very high, up out of the strike zone. 2 balls, no strikes. The Mets and the Minnesota Twins on the out-of-town scoreboard are going to go extra innings. 1-1 in New York. High and foul and out of play off the left field line. Two and 1 the count to Diaz. Dangerous hitter. He was having a great first half. He was the early leader, I think, for the Rookie of the Year honors. The way he began the season, he was hitting for average. He was hitting for power. Made the All-Star team, but has missed most of the second half with injury. Crawford, he's got it. The throw. Inning over.
Great play.
Wong stranded at third again. Nunez, Span, Samardzij coming up.
Big play the Togo's way. On this date, 2003, the Giants beat the Padres 8-3. And after the game, they watched on the Jumbotron scoreboard as the Dodgers lost to the Diamondbacks in LA to clinch the National League West for the Giants. Giants finished the season with a record of 161, and they won by a 15.5 game lead. That was a good celebration.
That was the year that they had been to the World Series and come so close to winning the World Series the year before. Dusty Baker left, went to Chicago. Felipe Alou was named manager, and about half the lineup also was gone. 4 of the regulars from the 2002 team moved on. There's a base hit to right for Nunez. And he takes his turn around first, right next to the Cardinals' new first baseman. Matt Carpenter has moved over to first, replacing Matt Adams. So it must be something wrong with Matt Adams. And Jed Jerko is now at third base. He'll bat in the spot where Adams had been, right in front of Yadier Molina, the number 5 spot in the order.
It could have been that play that he made back in the second inning that ended it, when he had to dive to his backhand, and he came back and got a double play by getting Nunez off the base. And something may have happened that has caused him to leave the game.
Yeah, it's the only thing I could think of. Nunez off and running from the knees. The throw. Safe. Molina still one of the best at throwing out would-be base stealers. But the 37th steal of the year for Eduardo Nunez, his 10th as a Giant. And they're looking at the replay, I'm guessing, in the Cardinal clubhouse.
Well, I think that it indeed is going to be a steal. I don't think they got him, but the throw was pretty spectacular considering the size of the jump that Nunez had.
There he goes again. Base hit to right field. Nunez slid into third. Nunez was not watching the hitter, had no idea where the ball was. He was going for a steal of third, and that was it. So he does not score, even though he was at third about the time the ball was hit.
And he had an enormous jump too. I mean, hey, listen, it's a good thing it wasn't a line drive that got caught. It had been a double play. As it is, they have a first and third with nobody out. He shouldn't feel too bad about it.
And he's in pretty good shape to score eventually in this inning.
I mean, that's just an enormous jump. And with Piscotty's arm, I mean, you're just not going to be given a second chance once you slide to get up and go again. Not only is it a very strong arm, Piscotty one of the more accurate arms in the National League. It's a good one.
The inning, the middle infield double play depth. Samardzija already showing bunt. That goes foul, and I think that's for the best. With a guy like Yadier Molina behind the plate.
Oh, you're right. You've got to get that ball away from Molina. He's got such a strong arm. And the other thing too is Mike Leake fields his position extremely well. If you bunt it too hard, I mean, he's going to get the ball, and he'll get a chance to get it out at second base.
Timeout taken because Nunez over third, tying a shoelace.
And from Nunez's perspective, I mean, if you see that ball bunted and it's going to get past the pitcher towards the second baseman, that's your cue to go. So this is when you have speed on the base pass like the Giants have right now, a bunt play is a very tough thing defensively.
Back to the bag. Span at first. Span with 12 steals this year. Nunez, of course, now with 37, including his time with the Twins in the American League. Nobody out. The Cardinals middle infielders would give away a run here to get a double play. He's swinging away now. Tagging up third, Nunez. Piscotty. Here comes the throw. Cut off. Now they've got Span hung up as Nunez scores easily. But Span stopped and let him tag him. He did not realize that Wong was sprinting behind him trying to catch up to him. And I think that ball was deep enough with Nunez's speed. He was going to score. I don't think there was any need for Span to sacrifice himself to make sure that he scored. But that appears like what he did, and an RBI for Samardzija to give the Giants the lead.
So Samardzija getting it done. Scotty's got to back up. He's got a little momentum coming in. Done a good job of hitting the cutoff man, and Span hung up. So the Giants run themselves out of another opportunity.
The sacrifice fly into a double play.
But they take the lead.
2-1 Giants. That's right through the hole. Base hit for Pagan. Now let's go to the CSN Bay Area studio for an update. Who's that? Thanks, Bendy. 5-2 LA. Top of the 7th in the desert. Giants go to LA starting Monday. There's Joe Panic, who twice is in a comebacker. Hits that one sharply but foul.
Gary Fralick showing that he's got wickets out there. Wow, let's take a look. Does it go through the wickets? Yes, it does.
You got to be quick to get there to spread those wickets just as perfectly as he did.
Not enough glove, Gary. One more look at the wickets. Dude.
It's not like he didn't get the glove down. Just that the ball was already, what, 30 feet beyond him by the time he got it down.
A little tardy. He was looking change up, got a fastball.
Man, Paddock hit that so hard. 0-1 the count to Joe, who's 0 for 2 in the game. Change up off the outside. Paddock is in need of a base hit. He's 0 for 10 in this series. And 0 for his last 11 going back to his final at bat in the Wednesday game with San Diego. And he, for a while there, it looked like he was starting to swing the bat well. That average was on the ascent. Right to the shortstop. That, I think, hit the side of the mound. Took an easy hop to Diaz, who forces out Pagan. 2-1 Giants. Brandon Moss coming up in the 6th. Seats, get the StubHub app. Not only will you find seats that you'll love whenever you want, you can find the best seat for your buck when you sort by best value. Get the StubHub app today. This is a display of autographed balls of the current roster of the Giants. Down behind the press box here at AT&T Park. Brandon Moss, Giants for the first time have the lead in this game, and he started him with a changeup, and it's 0-1. Twins and Mets are now going to the last of the 10th in New York. 1-1 the score there. followed up with a 96-mile-an-hour heater, 0-2.
And that's pretty much the same type of location that Moss took deep in his back in the first inning in his first at bat. But that's the beauty of the changeup. You put the changeup in his mind, which he did the first pitch, and he threw that ball right by him.
1-2. Moss homered with 2 down, nobody on in the very first inning. The Giants got a run in the second, knocked in by Belt, and a run in the fifth, knocked in by Samardzija himself. 2-1 Giants. 2-2.
Take a look at that swing of the bat. This is the only run the Cardinals have scored tonight. First inning, got a fastball up, away, and Moss just backspin it, opposite gap. An impressive swing of the bat. And that has been it.
Well, getting over. Nunez got it. That started out right toward the open hole there in the overshift, but it was just not hit that hard, and Nunez able to speed over and cover up.
Had some funky spin on it too. Kind of coming back to him. Almost tried to squirt out of his glove. Watch the ball come right to the top of his glove. A little bit of a rattle there. Then once he gets his arm on it, I mean, he's got a great arm.
Piscotty with a foul. So it was a ground ball to short, but played by the third baseman.
See the out distribution tonight from Samardzija. 13 ground outs, 3 strikeouts.
Not a single out in the air. 1-1 the count now. Big sweeper that missed to Piscotty, who has grounded out to short and struck out. He's one of those 3 strikeout victims. 2-1 Giants, 1 out, nobody on, 6th inning.
But even when you miss with that curveball, it's still something off speed. Still something that will make the fastball look better when he sees it again. That was a little slider. That's the pitch that he really has had all year long to complement his 2 fastballs. It wasn't until about 10 starts ago that he picked up the curveball and the changeup.
Piscotty, the former Stanford star. Back to the screen.
Got away with one there. He hasn't made many mistakes up, but that was one. And to a guy with power like Piscotty, I mean, you don't want to make a habit of laying flat sliders out over the plate at the belt. Fastball 56% of the time, and they've been a lot of sinkers. The sinker's been very good.
Just a little bit low.
Changeup. So outside of the first fastball that he threw at him, it's been all off-speed stuff coming into this 3-2 pitch.
Crawford, 2 down.
Oh yeah, the Gamer Babes are here and they are loving that play by Crawford. It's kind of a soft line drive. He didn't get all of it, but still a nice first step from Crawford and a direct line to the high backhander.
.77 miles an hour off the bat, according to the MLB at bat app. Jed Jerko up for the first time in the spot where Adams had been, and the count is 0-1. Jerko, 26 home runs, a career record for him in his first season as a Cardinal. .242 average, only a .305 on base percentage. 0-2.
And Samardzija just threw a fastball right by him. That's not that easy to do.
Jerko has only had 7 career at bats against Samardzija, but has never had a hit against him. Did it again. Right by him. 97 miles an hour. Given the lead, and then a shutdown 1-2-3 inning. Posey, Pence, Belt coming up.
CSN Bay Area is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. By Kelly Moore Paints, celebrating 70 years as your neighborhood paint store. By Xfinity, X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
There's McCovey Point on the other side of McCovey Cove from AT&T Park. Willie McCovey, one of the all-time greats of the game, a Hall of Famer, 521 home runs. Tied with the great Ted Williams on the all-time list. Here's Buster Posey against Mike Leake. Called a strike.
I don't think Buster was too enthusiastic about that call. Thought it was a little high, a little away.
Buster is 0 for 2, is hit back to the pitcher and flied out to right center. And it's a ball and a strike. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Giants, 1 run, 4 hits, and 1 error for the Cardinals. Hunter Pence on deck. Here's Diaz. 1 away. Now Pence to the plate. Tomorrow, the final game of this series is a 1:05 starting time. Albert Suarez for the Giants against Alex Reyes. Reyes, who has shown electric stuff, starting in place of Jaime Garcia. That's a little bit low for ball 1. That'll be tomorrow. Reyes will be making only his 3rd start for the Cardinals. 1-1 now to Pence, who has singled and scored a run and struck out. Up the middle, base hit. 2nd hit for Hunter Pence. Let's check in now with Amy G.
Well, gentlemen, Brandon Belt involved in 2 critical review plays last night that were reversed in the Giants' favor. Top of the 3rd, he stretched out to get a great throw from Croft. And the bottom of the 3rd, he got that big toe across home plate just in time. Now, yes, he's a very good baseball player, but I have decided it's those feet that are working for him. They're size 15s. I talked to him today. He said he uses every single inch of that lanky body, including his feet. He even points them when he slides just to get a little extra length. Guys, he said he remembers being a size 14 shoe when he was 14 years old, and his mom not happy about how many times she had to buy him shoes growing up.
All right, Amy G, thank you. A little inside info there. That's why you like a big guy. Big feet, tall target to play first base.
Yeah, absolutely. And if buying shoes is a problem when he's a kid, get him flip-flops.
Zach Duke up in the bullpen now for the Cardinals. We're in the 6th inning, 1 on, 1 out. Belt has doubled home a run and walked. Along the left field line, Moss on the run. It twists off into foul ground and caught in the 1st row.
Caught nicely. I mean, the sweet spot of that glove. Had him played perfect. Cal Poly family, all the way from San Luis Obispo. Let's take a look at the play. Oh, yeah. Got a man there.
A lot of smiles down there. 0-2 the count to Brandon Belt. Brandon Crawford is on deck. 2-1 Giants, last of the 6th. Struck him out looking.
Front door sinker. And it's really one thing you really have to remind yourself every time you get into an at bat against Leake. If you're hitting off the left side, you can't give up on the inside pitch because it'll work back to the strike zone. That's a perfect pitch. I mean, it's easier said than done. But you cannot execute a front door sinker any better than that. 3rd strikeout for Leake.
Brandon Crawford now has grounded out to 2nd and popped out to 2nd. Giants 2, Cardinals 1. The Mets are now going to the 11th inning in a 1-1 tie with Minnesota in New York on the out-of-town scoreboard.
Looks like the Mets just went down a run. So Minnesota takes the lead 2-1 in the top of the 11th.
So the Twins up. They've scored. They lead. Still batting. You got that on the hand operated out of town scoreboard out there.
They are quick out there, let me tell you.
There it is. Dodgers 5-2 over Arizona, last of the 7th. But we can see by that scoreboard the Twins are still batting. Not a play. Ball and a strike to Brandon Crawford.
It's one of the best swings he's had against Leake tonight. And that's the kind of swing you want to see a guy have when he's got a 1-0 count. So bring it home. All right. We're trying, partner. We're trying.
All right. Does that mean you bring it home, or me, or Kuiper? Who actually brings it home?
Giants.
Came back, caught the outside. 1-2. Brought it home in 2010, again in 2012, and again in 2014. One ball, 2 strikes. Pence ready to run at the crack of the bat from first base. Carpenter plays him on the bag over there. Shot right over the head of Billy Hayes. Foul ball. He was ready.
Gary Frelick. Yeah, he wants a redeemer. The one that went through his legs. Still thinking about it. Hang in there, Gary.
One and 2 the count to Brandon Crawford.
Leake trying to go front door sinker with Crawford the same way he went after Brandon Belt.
Shortstop Diaz pulled over toward the middle. Base hit. Pence will stop at second. Kind of muscled that one just out of the reach of Wong. 2 on, 2 out. Let's go to the CSN Bay Area studio for an update. All right, thanks. And Byron Buxton, he's a guy that they've long thought of as a great prospect. Got enormous power. And it hasn't blossomed yet in the big leagues for him, but a big day for him right now. The former Twin, Nunez, but Piscotty right in front of the wall ends the inning. Dwayne Kuiper will be moving back from the radio side come the 7th inning. The Giants are leading 2-1. Samardzija ready to go back to the mound.
been a well-pitched, well-played ball game. Giants lead the Cardinals 2-1 here after 6 full. Jeff Samardzija has been outstanding, 90 pitches through 6. Mike Leake has just made one more mistake, and he trails 2-1. And that is our Toyota game summary. It's brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. And here we are, top of the 7th, 2-1 Giants. And here again, my pal, Dwayne Kuiper.
All right. So Yadier Molina will take a pitch down low. Byron Broxton on the Crook and Kipe Christmas card list.
Yeah, we're big on him. That's good. Twins with a 2-1 lead over the Mets. Thanks to Buxton.
That's going to be a base hit. Span's going to move over to keep Molina at first base. Did I say Broxton? Buxton. So Samardzija is going to be back in the stretch.
That's 5 times tonight that the Cardinals have been able to get the leadoff hitter on base against Samardzija. I mean, you don't make it easy for yourself when you consistently put yourself into the stretch early. But to his credit, only one has been able to score so far. Actually, none of them was able to score. There was a double play in the first inning, negated a leadoff single, and then there was a 2-out home run. Will Smith heading down to the Giants bullpen.
And a strike. Got a good fastball tonight.
He's had a really good sinker too. A lot of balls hit on the ground.
Good pitch. Nothing in 2.
And sinkage on the outside corner. And look at the velocity. That's pitch number 94, and he's throwing 2-seamers at 95.
Oh, 2 pitch. Just outside.
But outstanding. I mean, that's 2-strike paralysis. You just move the fastball off the plate just about 6 inches. It sets up so many pitches. I mean, you can go inside now with front door cut. You could throw another 2-seamer on the inside corner. You can cut the outside corner. Any one of his specialty pitches. Lots of options.
And that'll be a souvenir down the right field line.
It's been one of the few times all night long when he is throwing 4 pitches of similar speed. Those are 4 pitches, 4 fastballs. He has really mixed up his pitches well tonight, and he has used his assortment of off-speed stuff very well.
Pritchett is hit into a double play, and he struck out. On the ground, foul. He got a curveball.
He's pitching for that double play right now.
Pitch-wise, 97. I don't think that's an issue because he just looks strong.
Yeah, he's built for 135 pitches easy.
Ooh. 2-2.
Just missed. And everybody squirms in both dugouts on this one. 2-seamer at 96 miles per hour. Just a bit outside. You've got to have some guts to take a pitch like that.
Foul back. 96.
Just knee-high paint with high velocity and big-time sink. Richard did well to fight that off. Next pitch will be 100 on the night.
Well, can't celebrate yet. Curtis Granderson hit a home run in the bottom of the 11th to tie.
Wow.
On the ground to Crawford. Crawford shovels to Panic. Panic to Belt. We've seen this before. 2 down.
And once again, a leadoff hitter is sent back to the dugout. Medina with Molina with a leadoff single to get no farther than first base. Just a great job of pitching for something and then getting it. And really kind of an easy turn because of how hard it was hit.
So here's Colton Wong. And the pitch is wide to Wong. 1 ball and no strikes as Javi Lopez is going to join Will Smith. It's odd sometimes to see 2 lefties throwing at the same time.
Doesn't happen very often.
Of course, this is September. You never know what can happen. You might actually see a pitcher play left field.
I've seen that. Not a problem. So Marge can get a quick out here. You might see him go back out in the 8th inning.
Yep.
Stu to hit second in the bottom of this inning. You see the out distributions, 15 ground balls, 4 strikeouts, just 1 ball in the air.
So it's going to be ball 4 to Wong. Decision time for Bruce Bochy. You know he's it'll be Hazelbacher who's been announced. So Bruce Bochy's coming out. Let's see if he's going to jog or not.
Nope.
There's no jog in this one. So Buster Posey's going to go out. Tells Buddy good job. Giants fans are going to stand and cheer Samardzija as he comes off the field. When it's time for a change, think Speedy. Oil change at Auto Service. Your oil change tune-up and repair experts. We'll be back. Cardinals have a runner at first with 2 outs, and Will Smith is the new pitcher.
Let's take a look at the numbers for Will Smith. 47th game he's been in this year. ERA of 3.86, 41 strikeouts in 35 innings. You're going to see a low 90s fastball, curveball, slider.
So Smith to face Johnny Peralta, who's pinch hitting for Hazelbaker. A soft toss to first. Peralta's 1 for 5 lifetime against Smith. And the pitch. Breaking ball for a strike. 0-1 to Peralta. Hunter Pence with room. Side retired. Smith comes in. He gets Peralta. Giants are coming up. It'll be Span to lead it off. Here it's 2-1. Giants, when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and repair experts.
Zach Duke has been a workhorse for Mike Matheny's 74th game that he's been in this year. 62 strikeouts in 56 innings. Not going to blow you away with a lot of velocity, but he's got 4 good pitches, and he can adjust his throwing motion. Fastball, curveball, slider, changeup. And adjust speed on all of his pitches. He's got a real nice feel with all of his stuff. Good pitch.
First pitch strike to Denard Span. Span lined out in the second. Had a hit taken away from him by Adams, and then he singled in the 5th. One and 2.
Cardinals really pulled the outfield in to defend against Span, as you see Jonathan Broxton heading down to their pen.
Span out of play. He's headed to the club level.
And with that last pitch, you saw Duke drop down, which is what he would do. He likes to save it for a little 2-strike surprise.
Giants trying to tack on. Been able to do a good job doing that in the first 2 games in this series, and another foul off the backstop. Roxton playing catch. The pitch. Look out.
The way Broxton's throwing down in that Cardinal bullpen, he's not thinking about Kelby Tomlinson, the undeck hitter. He's thinking about Buster Posey if the inning gets to Posey. Actually, just kind of easing into it.
Two and two, no swing.
Duke getting way low there. A crossover step.
The 2-2 pitch drops down and Span with a swing and a miss. Watch the drive to the pennant with MLB.TV Premium. You can watch every out-of-market game live in HD. Blackout and restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV. So it's going to be Hernandez, Verkis Hernandez to hit. We'll see if Mike Matheny makes a move. It is September. You can just about make a move from the at least 8th inning on to every hitter.
Oh yeah. And Giants can count it. They've got a 14-man bullpen. Cardinals have a 13-man bullpen. That's a lot of bullpen.
That is a lot of bullpen. Hernandez, slow roller. It's going to have to hurry. He does, and they get him. So now Pagan's going to hit. So Pagan steps up. He's 1 for 3. He's hit the ball hard every time. And he'll look at a strike. Panic to follow, and there's another strike.
That's why you really can't classify Zook as a left-handed specialist. I mean, all the years he spent as a starter, I mean, he can get righties out. Do a lot of things out there for you. It's not really been impressive to Pagan lifetime. Pagan 417 lifetime average against Duke.
And he held up. So Brian Lenore.
I don't think he's rung up anybody tonight.
No, I don't believe he has either. And that's fouled out of play. So Pagan right now just trying to get Panic to the plate. We're in the 7th. So it's 2 and 2.
Just a wee bit low. Just working that outside corner. You can see the target that Molina's setting up. He's really going wide with it.
Right back to Duke. And Duke with a 1-2-3-7. So we will head to the 8th inning. Matt Carpenter is going to lead things off, and it's going to be Javi Lopez coming in. McDonald's True Stories on this date in 1968. Here's Gaylord Perry with Russ Hodges.
Up and the pitch to flat. Strike three called. It's a no-hitter for Gaylord Perry. Gaylord Perry gets his name in the record book with the second no-hitter in the history of the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah. Walked 2, struck out 9. The next day, Ray Washburn of the Cardinals no-hit the Giants. When it's time for a change, think Speedy. Oil change and auto service, your oil change tune-up and repair experts.
Javier Lopez, the new pitcher now for Bruce Bochy. 64th game he has come into. 25 innings in those previous 63 games.
Strike to Carpenter, who had a hit in the first inning. Since then, he's bounced out twice. He's 2 for 6 in his career against Javi Lopez. Out of play down the left field line.
I mean, Lopez from the side, I mean, there's not that many left-handers that can really brag and say they have big-time ownage on Javier Lopez.
See the hot spots for Carpenter.
Well, he likes the ball at the belt, and he likes the ball down in the bottom of the strike zone. Good low ball hitter.
Down low, a teaser, 1 and 2. One ball, 2 strikes. Ooh, good pitch, 2 and 2.
And I mean, did not miss by more than a couple of inches. Set the target wide. Buster catches it off his left shin guard, just a little bit outside. Going outside again.
So now it's 3 and 2. And Lopez has to come in, and Bruce Bochy taking his hat off. Crawford got him. God, I always feel a lot better seeing Crawford go after the ball.
Well, I mean, a lot of angst in the dugout for Bruce Bochy, but I think he agrees with you. Once it got to the glove of Crawford, it was going to be an out.
So Derek Law's coming in. The Giants are leading 2-1. We'll be back.
The Giants Cardinals at 12:30 p.m. pregame live at noon. We're going to see it right here on CSN Bay Area. It is the final game. Plus, you get complete pre and post game coverage and Giants insider Alex Pavlovich. All that and more right here The home of the authentic Giants fan, CSN.
So it's Derek Law.
Take a look at the numbers for Derek Law. 55th game that he has come into. Good to see him back off the disabled list. With Law, 48 strikeouts and 9 walks in 51 1/3. You get low to mid 90s with velocity, curveball, slider, changeup. Right over the top delivery.
Strike, and it's 0-1 to Diaz.
Sergio Romo starting to get heated.
In the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. A little bit of a quick pitch, and it's driven out to Hunter Pence in Triple's alley. 2 outs, and here's Moss. Moss homered in the first, since then he struck out and bounced out to third. The object here obviously is to get Moss out. If you can't do that, then keep him in the park. 1 ball and no strikes. Swing and a miss to even the count.
Straight down break. Cannot throw a better curveball to a better location than that. Buster Posey cheering him on. Wants a fastball above the hands. In.
Hey, that's where he threw it. It's 2-2.
Oh, reach back velocity into it. That's 95.
Foul.
They have broke his bat.
Yeah, Moss did not look very happy. And it appears that he didn't. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's a good piece of wood to survive that.
I tell you what, it sounded like it was broken.
It did. Tried to quick pitch him with a curveball.
Piscotty's on deck. High to right field. Pence back. Pence room. Pence catches. Panic Posey. Pence coming up.
game. Every single evening is pretty special here. Tonight, just a little extra special as the Giants held their first annual Pediatric Cancer Awareness Ceremony before the game tonight. Of course, the Posies were in attendance. This is a cause close to their hearts, as you well know, gentlemen. The ceremony honored the heroic children battling this disease and those who, of course, have been taken away way too soon. Buster and Kristen recently held a fundraiser, raised $500,000 to go to pediatric cancer research. And everyone wearing the cap, the special Buster cap. If you'd like to know more, go to BusterPoseyOfficial.com. You can get the cap at Giants Dugout stores, guys.
Yeah, Jeremy Aftel, who I worked with on the radio side the last 2 games, said that it was quite an event. Here's the pitch to Panic, and Panic pops it up near the bag at second is Juan. Well, it's time for a change. Things speedy. Oil change and auto service. Your oil change tune-up and repair experts.
Son Juan-O, the new pitcher for the Cardinals. He has been their closer. You saw his numbers, had a nice year. And this guy pitched 9 years in Korea and was always a closer. Had 277 saves in Korea. Then he went to Japan and had 80 saves in 2 years there for Hanshin. And the Cardinals got him, and he's got good stuff. You're going to see a fastball that's low to mid-90s. He's got a slider and a split. Got a good arm.
Well, the Giants saw him in St. Louis, and they were really impressed. This is shallow right field, and it's going to be Piscotty, and Piscotty makes a nice basket catch going down to his knees. So with 2 outs, the hitter will be Hunter Pence. It's a long run for Piscotty.
Yeah, really, I mean, he's got the best angle on it, but you're right. He had to run the farthest to get to it. See him calling everybody off. Willie Mays basket style.
Pence 2 hits tonight, a couple of singles.
Oh, 34 years of age. As you see Romo and Casilla in the Giants bullpen.
1 ball and 1 strike. Pence off the end of the bat, foul, so it's a quick 1 and 2. Down low to Pence to even the count. Three and 2. Pence rolls this one to Diaz. Double clutch, and they got him, and that'll end the inning. So we'll go to the 9th. Your hitters will be Piscotty, Jerko, and Molina. 3 right-handed hitters. Romo coming out. All right, thanks, Mindy. Here's Romo to Stephen Piscotty. And a first pitch strike, and it's 0-1.
Numbers for Romo, 34th time he's come in. Remember, he spent some time on the disabled list. 26 strikeouts and 7 walks and 24 and a third.
It'll be a little odd for Piscotty. He's never faced Romo before.
Well, he's right on top of the plate. I mean, he knows all about the Romo no-dodge slider, so he's thinking about middle away.
And it's a little low, so it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Piscotty is bounced out, struck out, and he lined out to Crawford in the 6th. Foul back. He cued that one off the end of the bat.
And he got a little ovation on that pitch. I mean, that was up. And even though when you're hitting off of him for the first time, it's so different because you just don't pick up the spin that you normally see on a breaking ball. And that has always been one of the strongest things about the slider that Romo gives you is its deception.
It's 2-2. See where Buster Posey sets up. Popped out to left. It's just on Crawford, and Crawford makes the catch. So Brandon Crawford had to go a long way to go out there and put it away, and that's exactly what he did.
That's a great play. I mean, that's a play. If you're middle infielder, you're thinking you're going to get called off the whole time you're going out. And Pagan broke back on the ball, and then he just conceded the play to Crawford early. And it turned out to be a wrestling match, and somehow the Gold Glover gets it done. That's a big play.
And I think if you're Pagan, it's really wise. If you're going to call him, it's going to be too late to call him off, and then it is going to fall. So here's Jerko. Jerko with a strike, and it's 0-1. Jerko came in for Adams, and Jerko in the 6th inning struck out. And a base hit to left field. Jerko just kind of reached out. And now Bruce Bochy's coming out. So Bruce Bochy's not going to wait around. He is going to go to the bullpen. So Pham is going to pinch run. And Casilla is going to come in to face Yadier Molina. So we'll be back. It's 2-1 with 1 out here in the 9th inning. singles with Pham now pinch running, and Casilla will go after Yadier Molina. Giants are leading 2-1 here in the ninth.
31 saves on the year for Casilla. Low to mid-90s fastball, 2 types of movement, curveball, slider, change. The curveball's been his best specialty pitch. And Posey wants that curveball early.
And it misses, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Molina 1 for 2. Pham with his lead. It's a pretty good lead. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Now Molina was swinging for the pump.
Indeed he was.
But you know, you can say that about every Cardinal in a fastball count where they get ahead of you. They're going to try and leave earth. You're looking for ground balls in your Casilla. You need knee-high location.
So Pham with his lead at first, and a soft toss, and Pham back easily. Crawford panic at double play depth. Outfield straightaway with the exception of Span, who's towards the gap in right center field. Outside corner, 1 and 2.
Can't throw a better curveball than that. That is a #1 snapper right there. Set an outside target, and Posey sticks the location. So a 1-2 advantage for Casilla.
Pham with his lead. He goes inside. Posey's throw is going to be late. So now the tying run is at second base. It'll be a steal for Pham. And with his second steal of the year.
And one of the things that Buster Posey is going to talk about right here with Casilla is make sure you check him. He might try and steal third.
So it's 2 and 2 to Yadier Molina.
Little cutter just off the plate. Good 2-2 pitch. Pretty much where Posey wanted that thing. Didn't want to see any mistake in the strike zone in the 2-2 count. Molina likes to swing it. I mean, he's a guy who's pretty aggressive. But with an open first base right here, you can still stay on the corner.
Foul on the right field line. A little flare off the end of the bat. That was an extendo swing right there.
And he can cover some ground on the outside part of the plate. That's why I say when he gets into a 2-strike mode here, he will expand his zone. And you can go above the zone, but he'll chase. He wants to swing. He wants to knock this run in. So he will be aggressive.
2.
Easy take.
Here's Grichuk. We get another pinch runner.
Jose Martinez, the new pinch runner.
Strickland heads down to the bullpen. Grichuk is 0 for 3. He's bounced into a double play in this game twice. Look out. 1 ball and no strikes.
And those last 2 pitches really not close from Casilla. I mean, normally you don't really worry about him throwing strikes. Set the inside target, and this just heat seeks, and I don't know how it missed his face.
Goodness. Good speed on the bases for the Cardinals. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And they'll take any strike they can get, but fastballs out over the middle of the plate, up around the chest. I mean, those are not the desired locations. Casilla, he's calling his own pitches.
2 balls and a strike as he backs Grichuk off the plate, and now with a count of 2-1, you don't want it to go to 3-1.
And the one thing you do not want to do is walk a runner to third base with 1 out. So this becomes a very, very big pitch. As you're right, he wants to avoid the 3-ball count. And that was the location he wanted. 2-seam movement on the outside corner.
Two balls, 2 strikes. On the ground, Crawford dives, he can't get it. This game is tied. So Grichuk comes through.
That's kind of the way it's going for Casilla. He gets the ground ball that, had it been 4 feet closer to Crawford, he may have gotten a double play. And it finds its way through the middle of the infield, and it's all tied up. Just not a ball that's hit very hard. It's just a seeing eye ground ball. And when you're snake bit, you're snake bit. So not only do they get the tie and run in, but they get the go-ahead run at 90 feet away at third base. So Buster Posey's coming out, and he's doing damage control right now, and he's telling Casilla that very thing. You made a good pitch there. You got the ground ball we were pitching for. Found a hole. You just keep making good pitches.
So Bruce Bochy's coming out. And the lefty, Matt Reynolds, is coming in. So we got a tie game, and the Giants are going to try to keep it at that to get to the bottom of the 9th.
telecast is presented by authority of the San Francisco Giants and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of San Francisco Baseball Associates, LLC.
Cardinals have tied it up here in the ninth. The Cardinals have Martinez at third. They've got Grichuk at first. And it's Reynolds facing Colton Wong.
Numbers for Reynolds, 7th time he's come in for Bruce Bochy. Done a good job.
Foul out of play.
Reynolds, 4-pitch pitcher, fastball, curveball, slider, changeup. We'll see high 80s velocity on the fastball.
Giants have to play the infield in. And that's a bit outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Two hits in the inning and a walk. And a line drive at Span. He's going to catch. Tagging is Martinez. He's going to score, and the Cardinals take the lead.
So it winds up being a pretty good situational at bat there from Colton Wong to get the fly ball. That scores Martinez.
And the man who's going to try to close out the ball game, is coming up. So nice at bat for Wong. For the Giants in the ninth, they'll have Belt, Crawford, Nunez, and Span. And a call strike, and it's no balls and 1 strike. And another strike. It's 0-2. So maybe O's not even going to swing. And just getting back is Grichuk. Runner goes, pitches outside, nobody at second. Span's got it. His throw to third is not going to be in time. It'll be a stolen base and an error on Posey.
That's a rough error on Posey. Nobody covers the base. You have to assume there's going to be a middle infielder that gets to the base, and Giants defense just gets caught sleeping right here. So nobody expected Grichuk to try and steal with O hitting.
And if he's not going to swing, then you don't expect anybody to run. And now he swings, and that'll end the inning. So damage done. 2 runs for the Cardinals. Now the Giants have to try to get back. Belt to lead it off. right here on CSN Bay Area. You get reaction to this game. 49ers Panthers, that's tomorrow. USC Stanford. Highlights of that game, and they're good highlights. So the Giants find themselves trailing for the very first time in this game. With multiple changes. Moss is at first, Kelly not catching, Carpenter at third, Pham is in left. Belt is at the plate. And the pitch to Belt. And Belt takes high, 1 ball and no strikes. One 1-0 to Brandon Belt. Belt fouls it out of play to even the count. Moss did hit the home run in the first, and so that was incorrect. The Giants did trail. Swing and a miss, 1-2. So the Cardinals scored early and late. Belt on the ground. And this is out number 1.
I got him a payout pitch there. Was a split finger fastball. It's a good one. And he's got 3 pitches he can strike you out with. And that split, when he keeps that thing down, even when you make contact, good chance you're going to hit it on the ground.
So here's Crawford. Crawford singled in the 6th. And here he takes a strike, and it's 0-1. And at third now is Carpenter. Here's the 1-1. Crawford on the ground. Carpenter gets up and throws, and they got him.
Wow. Nice play. Carpenter, who's been back and forth. Third base, first base, now back to third. They played him off the line, and this really is an out. You can tip your cap to the guy that set it all up. I mean, the defensive alignment prior to the pitch is what enabled the Cardinals to get this out. And even at that, it was a very nice play from Carpenter to go down on his knees, spirit, get back up and shoot him down.
So here's Nunez. He's looking for a little 2-out thunder. There's a strike, and it's 0-1. Nunez didn't think so. Span on deck. Swing and a miss. Nothing in 2.
That's the one I want you to swing at.
Fouled off the backstop to stay alive. Going after Nunez with 2 outs and nobody on. And that's up the middle, and the Giants have life.
Just past the glove of O, and O can't figure out how he missed it.
Well, as much as Nunez likes to run, we're going to find out if he's going to try to get into scoring position right here.
Well, Carson Kelly, the rookie catcher, I mean, he's got a very, very strong arm. So the Cardinals don't really give away much in regard to arm strength when they take Yadier Molina out of the game and they hand the ball to, or at least the catching position, to a rookie.
So we're waiting on Nunez to get the glove on his left hand. Here's Span. Span is 1 for 3. And tight. 1 ball and no strikes.
That was completely away from the target. They set the glove on the outside corner. Bernard Span has got more homers than any Giant since mid-August. 10 on the year. And that's just wrong. Went right back to the same location, and this time it gets called a strike. Completely on the other side of the plate. And the difference between a 1-1 count and a 2-0 count is huge.
And a base hit. So Span comes through, and Connor Gillespie is going to be the hitter.
Under pitch, keeping them going, staying positive in that dugout. Now the Giants have a runner in score position, and if they can find a gap here, and it's certainly something we've seen Connor Gillespie stepping into the batter's box do. With Span speed, the 2-out jump, he can score from first.
And they're not taking the gaps away.
So Derek Lilliquist is going to come out. They bring the interpreter out. Oh, from South Korea.
So everything's settled with Gillespie waiting patiently. Gillespie will not wait around. If he likes the first pitch, he'll get after it.
Well, he's going to look one pitch one side of the plate. Smart hitter. He will look for one mistake.
And this should do it. It'll be Colton Wong waiting for it to come down, and that's the ball game. So the Cardinals come back with 2 in the 9th. The Giants make a run at them in the bottom of the 9th, but they're 1 hit away from extending the game or maybe even taking the lead. And this is another one of those tough losses. The Giants led all the way until the 9th inning, and they dropped this one. And now a win tomorrow, they can still take the series, but you start to think about what could have been.
Well, and it has happened the whole month. I mean, they've had 11 opportunities at a save, and they have only converted 4 of them. And I mean, there's some unrest in that bullpen, and they're not going to sleep well tonight.
The unrest just happens to be unrest in the 9th. Prior to that, everything is good. Final score: Cardinals 3, Giants 2. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned. Esurance Giants postgame live with interviews in the wrap starts right now.